You probably know that I am on my hair health journey, trying to get healthier and longer and thicker and all of the things. I, growing up, did not have like a lot of knowledge empowered to me about my hair or how to keep it healthy. I just kind of like brushed through it, ripped through tangles, and didn't really know much about my hair at all. And I just assumed that it would stay thick and stay fine and it would just keep growing. Who knows what would happen. But as I grew older, my hair started, which is very normal, but it started thinning out. It was not nearly as thick as it used to be. And that got me starting to think about my hair. Like, why is it just thinning as I grow older? I mean, I know that this is normal, but I was like 18 years old, like it shouldn't thin that much, in my opinion. And so as I was doing that, I also realized that my hair was super oily. I realized that some girls that I knew who were a little bit better at taking care of their hair and skin and all that type of girly thing, wouldn't like wash their hair every day. They would wash their hair every other day to keep it healthier and stronger. And I realized I was washing my hair every single day and that the oil was just accumulating on my scalp and continuing to build up. But I had to keep washing every single day because otherwise my hair would be so oily. So after college, I started washing my hair every other day to try to keep it healthy. Once I learned that washing every other day or longer is actually more healthy for your scalp and your hair growth and your hair follicles to keep those strands thick and growing in strong. But what I found was, because I had set such a precedent for such a long time of my hair getting washed every day, that my scalp was so used to that. And so I was literally washing every other day, but my hair would just get drenched in oil by the second day. Like by the end of the second day, I would just have like so full of oil. I just like, if I held my hair up like this, it would kind of like just stay there a little bit. Like that's how much the oil held my hair in place. And so I knew that that was like disgusting to feel. It kind of hurt my head and scalp as well. And so I felt caught in between. I wanted to get some sort of solution. I wanted to stretch out my wash days to be able to go longer in between washes for my hair. And I knew that that was a healthy option to help it grow long and luscious and to prevent breakage and split ends. But I just didn't know how I was gonna make that happen because it got so oily. So here are some things that I implemented to help out with that super oily scalp. Now, I will mention that during this same time, I had just recently had my little baby, and I was also losing my hair because of postpartum hair loss. So not only had it kind of thinned out as I had gotten older, but I was also literally losing it by the droves. It was like coming out. And I know that they say that during pregnancy, it's supposed to grow in more, but I felt like it was getting thinner than ever before. And I know how much that can do to your confidence. You already just had a baby and your stomach is like flat and just you feel kind of gross. And the only time I really feel confident and well was like if I would go for a run or something and exercise. But I really wanted to feel like I had control over something on my body and just like be able to feel confident in it and settled in it. And so with my hair, I had an oily scalp, I had the postpartum hair loss, and I had seen these girls on Instagram who use this magic shampoo, which, by the way, nothing is magic, okay? You have to be consistent. You have to, be committed. But they had been using these products that were beneficial for growth, were beneficial for helping your oily scalp. And so here's what I did. I'll list first the things I did to help my oily scalp, and then what I did to help my hair postpartum to regain back my hair that I was losing. So for my oily scalp, I started a weekly oil treatment. So this may sound counterintuitive, but my hair was literally producing so much oil because that was how often I had been washing my hair for so long that it felt that it needed to compensate for when I was washing my hair, which didn't allow me to then go longer in between washes. So a weekly oil treatment, I would apply the oil to my scalp and to all the ends of my hair, and I would just scrub it in before wash day. So 12 hours usually before wash day, I will put an oil treatment in my hair, let it simmer, let it sit in there, and tell your scalp, hey, we are sufficiently oiled. We have sufficient, not dryness. What's the opposite of dryness? Moisture. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but you get it. We have sufficient moisture on our scalp. We are able to now go longer in between wash days. And so when I started doing that as a treatment before wash day, letting that oil sit and simmer in my scalp, I started to be able to stretch out my washes. And then I was able to go 3 days in between my washes. And now I'm able to go 4 days in between my washes. And so on that 4th day, my hair is still a little bit oily. And so I will usually put it up in a bun or something. But then at the end of that day, I will do an oil treatment. Or it might be like the next 4 days, depending on when it is. And I will let my hair simmer in that. And then the next day, wash it out with products that are clean and low tox, that are free from waxes and silicones. That was another thing I didn't realize about my oily scalp, is that when you have waxes and silicones in your products, they actually sit on your scalp and clog up your hair follicles. And because they don't get washed off, your hair actually doesn't grow out as thick. The hair follicles are clogged, so it prevents as much growth from happening. And so this oil was able to help clear my scalp from those clogged hair follicles, from the waxes and silicones, from my other hair products, and allow me cleaner, healthier hair. So let's get to the postpartum side. If you're a postpartum mama and you are struggling with hair loss, this is what I did to help minimize it and literally change my hair. So within a month, I was able to start growing back baby hairs. I hadn't previously. And then within 6 months, I had my hair basically back to what it usually was, the length. You can still see some little things that are still growing. Woohoo! Yay! Continual new growth, which is awesome. And so something that a lot of people don't realize is that rosemary is a natural hair growth. However, there are several other aspects that go into play with your hair growth. So for instance, melatonin, when applied topically, can help stimulate your hair follicles, keeping it in that growth phase for longer. So helping your hair grow faster, helping as you're unclogging those hair follicles, helping those hair follicles grow in thick and strong. And caffeine is also does the same thing as melatonin, where it stimulates your hair follicles for growth as well when you apply it topically, which just means on top of your scalp. So I started using a hair serum, a growth serum, that has caffeine and melatonin. It is infused with rosemary. So it has those 3 big impacts. And I started applying it to my scalp and growing back my hair. And like I said, within a month, within a couple days of using consistently, I diminished my hair shedding. And so the hair loss that I had postpartum was just back to my normal hair shedding that you lose hairs every single day. That's very normal. But it was back to my normal amount rather than excessive bundles of hair. And then after a month, I had little baby hairs growing in right here. And then after about 6 months of use consistently, I had basically grown my hair all the way down to where it usually would have been. There's still like some that are, you know, growing in and stuff continually. So this is like one. So the oil that I use for my hair, the hair growth serum that I used for my postpartum hair loss, huge players. If you don't have an oil integrated in your like hair care system, I highly suggest it. And what a lot of people tell me is this: they're like, "Hey, I don't have time for a hair oil. Like, I just wash my hair and go. Like, I don't want to have a whole hair routine." You guys, this is not a whole hair routine. This is like, it literally will cut down because I do not wash my hair. If I go in the shower, I'll just like pin it up and put a hair cap over top. I don't have to wash my hair for like, except for every 4 days. So you are literally minimizing your total time. Like, I don't do anything. I didn't do anything today to this hair except for do a quick brush through. Y'all, starting at my ends and working my way up to keep it all healthy. Quick brush through. So it actually can minimize the amount of time that you spend on your hair by just sticking in a quick oil treatment. So that's what I recommend first, because most people have an overproduction of oil. Most people are washing their hair every single day, not allowing it to grow out as thick. They're wondering why their hair is broken, dead, dull on the ends, and that's why. So integrate a hair oil. And if you are postpartum, integrate some sort of growth serum. I highly recommend the one that I use. It is IR Clinical Growth System. But like, if you can integrate those two things into your hair routine and start using healthier low tox products, your hair is going to grow back healthier. It's going to grow back thicker, and you'll have less breakage and less dead ends if you are treating your hair correctly, brushing, and doing other things to keep your hair clean just like you would normally. It can happen for you. If you want to learn more about the products that I'm using, I'm going to link my hair quiz below. You can fill that out with like, is your scalp dry? Is your scalp oily? You're going to tell me a little bit about your hair and your hair problems, and I'm going to be able to work with you to try to find products that are going to work best for your specific hair and your specific goals that you're going to have. So like, say you want a thicker head of hair, you want your hair to grow in more. We're going to work on that and find products that are going to work for you. So go ahead and fill that out if that's something that you're struggling with and you want to like get better at and get healthier in. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back at some point in time. Who knows?